Why cozy reading peaks in autumn. Every publishing calendar treats September as a kind of soft new year, and with good reason. In trade terms, fall is the industry's most crowded, high-profile window. Cooler weather, nostalgic landscapes, and comforting scents and sounds like the kettle boiling, the thrum of the radiator, damp leaves outside, cinnamon and wood smoke heighten this effect by triggering memories and emotions. These sensory and emotional cues reconnect us with earlier reading selves, making cozy reading feel like both a refuge and a reset each autumn. Cozy reading is a mood we can reliably summon every autumn, and the market, the weather, and our minds conspire to help. So with that, here are some cozy reads to curl up with as summer ends. My first pick is J.L. Carr's A Month in the Country. This is a novella about mending, of paintings, yes, but also of damaged spirits most of all. Tom Birkin, a shell-shocked veteran, arrives in a Yorkshire village to uncover a medieval mural hidden beneath limewash in the local church. He works high on the scaffold while, outside, archaeologist Charles Moon searches for a buried grave. Carr's plot is slender by design. Days pass in ritual, small talk ripens into friendship. A timid, almost courtly attachment unfolds between Birkin and the vicar's wife. The themes, convalescence after catastrophe, the pastoral as balm, art as a way back to oneself, are etched with the same economy as the fresco Birkin exposes. Its lasting appeal is the ache of its restraint. Carr leaves us suspended between what might have happened and what did, which is exactly where nostalgia lives. Next on my book of cozy reads, Elizabeth von Armin's The Enchanted April relocates the fantasy of renewal to a rented castle above the Liguarian Sea, where four Englishwomen, Lottie, Rose, Mrs. Fisher, and the glorious Lady Caroline, flee London's greyness for a month. The plot is a sequence of soft awakenings. Marriages are re-examined, prickly social armours loosen, and even the garden seems to orchestrate its guests' better selves. Von Armin's comedy of manners turns on the fiction between duty and desire, privacy and companionship, with the Mediterranean functioning as agent and witness. Its themes, female friendship, hospitality, forgiveness, continue to charm because the book believes change can be gentle and still be real. By the end, nothing explosive has occurred, and yet everyone is unknotted. My third pick, Sarah Winman's Still Life. This book begins in wartime Tuscany when Ulysses Temper, a young British soldier, meets Evelyn Skinner, an elderly art historian who teaches him to see. The narrative fans out over decades between bomb-scarred London and Florence as a found family coagulates around Ulysses, Peg, Cressy, Cole, and a parrot who quotes Shakespeare with oracular timing. The plot's pleasures are cumulative rather than suspenseful, chance inheritances, a bar that becomes a sanctuary, love that refuses melodrama. Winman tends themes of art as ethics, chosen kinship, queer domesticality, and the moral luck of being alive when beauty survives. Its coziness is capacious, never cloying. The book feels like a long table where new chairs are always dragged in from the hall. Next, Donna Tart's The Secret History. Now, this is often filed under dark academia, yet it also scratches the same autumnal itch as a wool sweater and a campus quad. Richard Papin tumbles into a Rarefield Classics clique at Hampden College and discovers that admiration shades quickly into complicity. The plot advances into two deaths, one planned, one not, and the long, cold reckoning that follows. Themes of beauty and terror, moral anesthesia, groupthink, and the seductions of elitism are threaded through a narrative voice that confesses without apologizing. Its lasting appeal is the way it makes scholarship feel erotic and dangerous while capturing the loneliness of wanting to belong. For many readers, it's the book that made September feel like a genre. But cozy reading is not limited to gentle fiction or pastoral retreats or heartwarming tales of friendship. For many readers, myself included, the allure of a truly cozy book lies in the strange comfort of crime. It might seem paradoxical. How can murder and mystery and darkness become part of the comfort of autumn evenings? Yet, the ritual of true crime, whether fictional or real, gives us a safe space to explore fear, morality, and the psychology of human behavior, all from the warmth of our own homes. Just as a whodunit invites us to solve a puzzle, true crime invites us to peer into the shadows of reality while holding on to the reassuring knowledge that the story has already unfolded, the case already closed, the danger already contained. In this way, true crime can be as much a part of the cozy canon as the softest, most nostalgic novels. And perhaps no book illustrates this better than Truman Capote's In Cold Blood. Truman Capote's In Cold Blood retells the 1959 murders of the Clutter family in Holcomb, Kansas. Following the killers, the investigation, and the town's stunned aftermath, Capote assembled his account through hundreds of interviews and novelistic techniques, scene, dialogue, point of view, helping to cement what he called the non-fiction novel. The themes are unnervingly intimate: the banality of evil, the permeability of public and private grief, the ethics of witnessing. What keeps readers returning isn't morbid curiosity alone, but the book's hypnotic control of tone. Capote makes dread feel pastoral until it isn't, and the coolness of the prose intensifies the heat of the moral questions underneath. To be honest, I could have plucked any novel from Agatha Christie to be a nice cozy read, but I've gone with the all-time classic Murder on the Orient Express. This is a snow globe mystery, a luxury train stalled by drifts, a murdered passenger with too many enemies, and Hercule Poirot politely unspooling the lie behind every alibi. Clockwork plot funnels to one of the most famous solutions in detective fiction, and the book's argument about collective justice still pricks at tidy moral instincts. Its themes of revenge as ritual, truth as choreography, the dignity of method are wrapped in the irresistible coziness of enclosed spaces and hot coffee in thin cups. Few books make autumn and winter feel so theatrical. Next up, I have Kenneth Grahame's charming book, The Wind in the Willows. Now you might say, oh, this is a children's book. And it is. But its abiding tenderness towards home and friendship has kept adults smuggling it into their own shelves. Mole abandons spring cleaning to meet Rat. Mr. Toad discovers motoring and disaster. Badger administers sense. The plot hums between picnics and peril, culminating in the retaking of Toad Hall. Themes of hospitality and seasonal rhythm, class, foibles, and the constellations of the ordinary deliver a restorative coziness that can withstand any gust. The sentences themselves feel like a blanket, and Grahame's riverbank is less a place than a temperature. My next pick is a must-read, to be honest. It's Louisa May Alcott's Little Women, which follows the March sisters Jo, Meg, Beth, and Amy. Across the Civil War years as they test their temperaments against poverty, ambition, illness, and love. The plot proceeds through domestic trials and rites of passage rather than twists. A botched dance, a ruined manuscript, a piano gifted and gracefully played. The themes are explicit and, crucially, argued with nuance. Work as vocation, art as duty and delight, the politics of marriage, the ethics of caregiving. Readers keep returning because Alcott refuses to sneer at sentiment, and every reread becomes a reckoning with the self you were when you first met Jo. Returning to the world of murder mystery, I have Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club, which relocates amateur detection to a retirement community where Elizabeth, Joyce, Ibrahim, and Ron meet weekly to pick at cold cases until a very warm one erupts nearby. The plot braids a property developer killing with older crimes and older secrets, but the book's engine is voice, Joyce's diary entries, Elizabeth's steel, the group's banter. Themes of aging as agency, the value of expertise accrued slowly, and the ethics of found family make the novel feel like tea with biscuits. Comforting, but it bites back. Its lasting appeal lies in how kindly it treats competence and how deftly it allows grief to sit at the same table as fun. Taking a more serious turn now, I have John Berendt's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. This is a portrait of Savannah, masquerading as a true crime narrative. At its centre is antiques dealer Jim Williams and the long legal tangle following the shooting of Danny Hansford. Laurent arranges a cast worthy of high comedy and southern gothic, of voodoo practitioners and nightclub performers until the city itself is the main character. But more to its atmosphere, a humid, moonlit invitation to linger in other people's stories. Next, I have Michelle McNamara's I'll Be Gone in the Dark. This chronicles an obsession that became a movement. Following the crimes of the man she named the Golden State Killer, McNamara braids survivor interviews, police files, and her own sleepless pursuit into a narrative that's as much about how we look at violence as about the violence itself. Published posthumously in 2018, the book helped fix public attention on a case later cracked via investigative genetic genealogy. Authorities acknowledged her role in raising awareness even as they credited DNA work for the arrest. Its themes, justice as patience, the ethics of true crime fandom, and the cost of looking, give it a gravity that survives the case's resolution. If you're like me, and you also enjoy the slightly longer novel, then you're going to love my next choice. I'm going to be a bit cheeky and add one more. This is one of my all-time favourites. It's Wilkie Collins's The Moonstone. This is often hailed as the first true detective novel in English literature, and its enduring reputation rests not only on its ingenious mystery, but also on the atmosphere of domestic coziness it evokes. At its heart, the novel tells a story of a stolen Indian diamond that disappears during a country house party, setting off a chain of investigations, false leads, and shifting suspicions. What makes it uniquely comforting is not simply the puzzle of the missing jewel, but the structure of its narration. The story unfolds through a series of witness testimonies, each with a distinctive voice. We hear from the pious and comically self-important Miss Clack, the earnest and duty-bound Sergeant Cuff, and the devoted family sergeant Gabriel Betteridge, who turns to Robinson Crusoe for wisdom in moments of uncertainty. Their perspectives create not just suspense, but also intimacy, as if the reader were sitting by the fire, listening to confidences shared over tea. There are themes of truth, of memory, and moral ambiguity that run through the novel, but they are delivered in a way that feels immersive and oddly reassuring. Even as questions of colonialism and fate swirl around the cursed diamond, much of the book is rooted in the everyday rhythms of Victorian domestic life. Garden paths, sitting rooms, the hush of country evenings. This juxtaposition of the extraordinary with the familiar is central to its charm. The Moonstone allows readers to experience the thrill of danger and deceit from within the safety of home, reminding us that the best mysteries are those that unsettle without ever truly unmooring us. But why have I added this one to my list of cozy reads? Well, The Moonstone exemplifies how crime and comfort can coexist. The mystery keeps the pages turning, but the warmth of its narrators and the steady pulse of domestic detail make it a novel to savor slowly, ideally in autumn's quiet glow. But why do these books stay with us? Cozy reading isn't a single flavour, it's a texture made from repetition and surprise in careful balance. The books I have mentioned, some are quiet, some are thrilling, share three binding qualities. First, they establish safe containers. A church nave in high summer, a borrowed castle, a bar in Florence, a stranded train, a snug retirement village, even an old southern city ringed with gossip. Each provides a bounded stage where threats can be named, watched, and often resolved. Second, they honour ritual. Restoration work done methodically, afternoon walks by the river, or term time seminars, teas at 4, diaries confided in, annual holidays marked. These rhythms invite readers to sync their own breathing to the book's pulse. And third, they respect feeling without pandering to it. Coziness isn't an anesthetic. In these pages, love is lost, crimes are committed, justice compromises with mercy. All these writers are treating the reader as a companion rather than a spectator. That companionship is what lasts. When September arrives, books like these make the beginning feel like home. So there you have it, just in time for autumn. If you liked my selection, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for another video essay.